Undisputed Era time, boys. It's undisputed. Yes, people, welcome to another edition of All Things Wrestling right here on the finished article. And you know what? I'm gonna get my boy Shaz on, and we're gonna go straight into this because I'll tell you in a bit, guys. Yes, bro. How are we? We good?
What's up, bro? What's
Oh,
up?
my man's even got the undisputed sign. Check this out. Loving it, bro. Absolutely loving it. You
You know
know
the
what?
funny thing is, I remember a week ago you messaged me and said you told me Kyle O'Reilly's contract had come to an end,
Yeah.
and I think we both predicted this. Well, it's not a prediction; it was a spoiler, as your
Mr.
boy
Paul here
says.
on the scene.
Exactly.
Do
Yeah.
you know what? I think since the last time we've done an All Things Wrestling, a lot of shit has gone down in wrestling. So, firstly, the one thing I want to talk about is Kyle O'Reilly. Like, we talked about him leaving WWE, and we talked about his last match with Von Wagner and all that bullcrap, right? But when he turned up in AEW, I don't know if you could hear it through TV and whatnot, because I could from my side, but a lot of people are saying there was no reaction. When Kyle O'Reilly turned up on Dynamite to help Adam Cole beat Orange Cassidy, people are saying there was no crowd reaction, right? Now, there was a crowd reaction. When they were all in the ring together, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, and Adam Cole, the crowd were going nuts and shouting undisputed. I do not understand how you could not hear that while you were watching it on TV. The crowd was loud.
No, I
Or am,
heard it.
am I like, is it just me that heard that reaction?
No,
Or
I
did
heard
you
it.
hear it?
I heard it as well but you had to
Okay,
listen very closely. Um,
true.
my guess is that it was said, but people were so hyped up they were screaming, shouting.
Now, do you know what
They
it is?
probably missed it.
Do you know what it is, bro? There's there's always going to be a divide in wrestling fans, right? So you've got your WWE marks who will hate anything that's not WWE. If you say one bad word about WWE, they will bite your head off, right? And then you've got the normal casual wrestling fans who watch a bit of everything, WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor when they come back, hopefully, and Impact Wrestling, New Japan, and all this stuff. And then there's new fans as well. The AEW marks, bro, the ones who think that the sun shines out of Tony Khan's ass or some shit in AEW, because if you say one thing wrong about AEW, that's it. You're goners, mate. You're done. You're done. It's just crazy. Like, I watch WWE, I watch AEW, I watch a bit of Impact Wrestling when I get a chance, and up until recently, I used to watch quite a bit of Ring of Honor because I like the style. But unfortunately, they're on hiatus until hopefully around April. Hopefully, they're back. But I just want to talk about Kyle O'Reilly. Like, he looked so much better on AEW. He had that swagger back. You know that little walk that he did around the ring with his swagger on there. The guy's got his
Yeah.
swagger back, and he has not had that for a long time. In NXT, it just felt like he was there because that was his job. Like, when it when Undisputed Era were together in NXT, you could tell he was enjoying his wrestling. He was enjoying the storylines and whatnot, because it was, I think, to me, Undisputed Era in NXT were probably the best faction or best stable in NXT.
Yeah.
It's the best stable NXT I've ever had. And NXT have had the Wyatt family as well. They've got Legado del Fantasma, and they've had Hit Row and a couple of others. But to me, Undisputed Era were the best and they've ever had in NXT. Not WWE, NXT. So people who are watching, don't get that twisted. I don't mean they're the best stable in WWE history. I'm saying NXT history, which is different. Like, they had the Undisputed Era when they had all the championships and all that stuff. You see, this is a question a lot of people have been saying, that Darren's just mentioned. Will Roderick Strong join AEW? Now, I'm going to talk about this because it's interesting. A lot of people say Undisputed era aren't all together because Roderick Strong isn't there. But what people fail to remember is Adam Cole debuted with Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly as the Undisputed Era. Roderick Strong didn't join till maybe like a year after. So he's not an original member of Undisputed Era, right? But I think Undisputed Era were better with Roderick Strong in them, but they are really good on their own, right? Don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish as a group. But yes, I would love to see Roderick Strong join AEW and join the Undisputed Era. That would just complete the, it would just complete that reunion.
So let me jump in and give you my take on it.
Go for it, bro.
To hit upon Shaz's point about casual wrestling fans, WWE or AEW, so I kind of fall in between that. I grew up watching WWE.
Do you know what? I was actually going to say you're a WWE mark, but you're not anymore.
Yeah. So part of, the funny thing I was just thinking about when you were just talking about this whole thing about obviously Darren's comment about Roderick Strong. The funny thing is WWE are literally bleeding right now. Bleeding to the point whereby you got all of their talent that was dead on their brand has now come alive on AEW. CM Punk left WWE. You've now got obviously
Bryan Danielson.
You've got
obviously
Andrade,
Malachi Black, FTR. The list goes on and on, bro. Honestly,
what this tells me is Vince at the senile age of 75, 80, God knows.
It's not like, sorry to cut you off, bro. It's not just where it's like all these former WWE superstars, they've not all landed in AEW. Like there's quite a few that have landed over in Impact Wrestling. Like you've got Matt Cardona, which is Zack Ryder, the Good Brothers, Gallows and Anderson, Bronson Reed from NXT is over there. Eric Young's gone back there. The biggest name I think that WWE dropped the ball on was Christian Cage or Christian. Like, I cannot go into the amount of detail I think, on that topic. I mean, we discussed it when he turned up in AEW, didn't we, Shaz? And that was a big, big fuck up from Vince. That's the only way to put it. Like, Vince absolutely, and the whole of WWE just fucked that up, basically. Like, you could have had, right now, we could have Edge and Christian as a team in WWE, but WWE felt Christian wasn't good enough. So there's that.
I think it's literally just they've lost the plot. WWE, AEW literally have brought. They brought
the wrestling community back to life.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like they give it CPR, bro.
Yeah, badly needed CPR.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie, right? When I knew Kyle O'Reilly was Adam Cole's surprise, right? Like last week, he said to the Young Bucks, "I've got a surprise for you next week," right? As soon as he said that, I'm like, right, Kyle O'Reilly is debuting next week. Now, I wasn't expecting him to help him win. I was expecting maybe a segment where he introduced him or something like that. But it was a brilliant way of bringing him in, and stuff like that. Like, I marked out, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like when Bobby Fish and Adam Cole were outside on that side of the ring, and you could hear it. The crowd was starting to react because Kyle O'Reilly was coming through the crowd, and he eventually jumped into the ring behind Orange Cassidy. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm marked out, bro. I absolutely loved it. Like, I thought, right, Undisputed Era is back. AEW, watch out. It's Undisputed time.
Yeah, no doubt.
We've got another comment here, Shaz.
Yeah, go on.
WWE is so boring to watch. Same old superstars who always get the titles and the chances. 100%. The only thing I like differently that they've done is Big E. Like, I'm actually enjoying his championship run, but there's a few things that I feel are wrong with it, right? If you compare the way he's presented as a champion to the way Roman Reigns is presented as a champion, there's a massive difference. Like, if Big E has a match, he always comes out first. His entrance is first, but Roman Reigns is always last. right? Big E as the WWE champion is sometimes the first match on the card, whereas Roman Reigns is always the main event.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned in how long? Like 19, 20 months or something now,
Yeah,
near enough,
it's almost
maybe
been a year and a
longer.
half, yeah.
Close to a year and a half, right? Big E's been WWE champion a couple of months and he's already been pinned, maybe twice. So there's a massive, massive difference in the way WWE is being portrayed as the champion. And the only way, and a lot of people are saying, is that they're only doing that, like the way they're doing it with him is because he's black. Like, I disagree. I don't think that's the reason behind it. But there's a very big similarity. There's a very big difference, sorry, in the way he's being portrayed as a champion. If that was Seth Rollins as champion, he would have been portrayed a lot stronger. Bobby Lashley was portrayed as a very strong champion. Roman Reigns has always been portrayed as a very strong champion. So, and if you compare Big E and Roman Reigns, they're similar height, similar build, right? So, why is Roman Reigns being portrayed as so dominant and Big E isn't? That's a question I'm gonna leave to the viewers and whatnot. I'll let you jump in on this comment. Sorry, from Darren. That's there, Shaz.
So yeah, you know what? I would agree with that. It has become boring. It's become stale. It's become. It's not even worth watching anymore. Yes, Biggie. I think. But to answer Shaz's question on Biggie, I don't think Biggie gets the respect he deserves.
100%.
So it's almost like he's just like he's like a people's champion as opposed to giving them the actual due respect.
I think they gave him the title because they knew it would have been really a good crowd reaction. And A and B merchandise sale. He's probably one of the biggest merchandise sellers they've got with the New Day. Like New Day,
yeah, no doubt,
probably outsells anybody right now.
I go back to the point that minus the bloodline, and obviously Biggie and Lesnar, the segment that's playing out right now between them. There isn't much holding the brand together. The fact that, and I want to touch upon something you said at the start of the show, the fact that WWE had the biggest asset, i.e. the Undisputed Era, and did not promote them to Raw or SmackDown, shows you how far they have fallen.
So just talking about that, like I know you I know there's other things you want to talk about, but in regards to the Undisputed Era in WWE, so apparently the main reason they split them up is because they wanted to move Adam Cole to Raw or SmackDown. So they split the whole group up. Instead of moving Adam Cole to Raw or SmackDown and then having the rest of Undisputed Era come with him as his backup. Now imagine right now, Chaz, right? Adam Cole's on Raw or on SmackDown. He's got the Undisputed Era with him. That's 4 guys, and they could take on the Bloodline. And I think that there'd be some amazing matches. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish are a great tag team. Red Dragon, as they used to be called up in Ring of Honor. And them against the Usos will be a brilliant match. No word about that. That will be an amazing match. Adam Cole versus Roman Reigns will be a great match, I reckon. I think Roman Reigns, as a wrestler, he's improved a lot, right? He has improved a lot, and I think working with Adam Cole would have helped him as well because Adam Cole's in-ring ability is amazing.
But no doubt.
This is WWE though, man. Like I said, they dropped the ball on everything, bro. Like that, the whole storyline with Austin Theory and Vince McMahon right now, it's just pathetic. Like
it's embarrassing.
Austin Theory and Finn Balor are gonna eventually fight at Day 1. I've got a feeling, or maybe even after. And Austin Theory is gonna beat Finn Balor, and Finn Balor is not just a former 2-time NXT champion, but he was the first ever Universal Champion in WWE history. And now look where he is. He's jobbing to Austin Theory. Right? Now, if I was Finn Balor, I would wait my contract out and I would just leave. I go back to New Japan because he was used really well over there. He could even go to Impact Wrestling. He could go to Ring of Honor when they come back and be like the main star in Ring of Honor. He'd be 100%. He would be used as a main eventer in any other promotion he goes to besides WWE. It's absolutely bizarre. Like, why move him from NXT to Raw or SmackDown just to job to these people that are beneath him? If you ask me,
it doesn't make any sense. That's the problem. So I think a
like
lot of the
an
decision
NXT
making is rash.
and bro, NXT is just a whole nother video that we're gonna have to do separate because there's so much wrong with NXT. It's unbelievable, right? But obviously, we're going off topic right now. We're not really going off topic. It is talk about wrestling, but there's a couple of other points that we do need to get onto. This whole situation with Jeff Hardy. I don't know how much you know about it, Shaz, right? Apparently, he was intoxicated or whatever at a house show. He went into the crowd and he didn't come back for his match. The rest of the match, I think it was like a tag match or 3-on-3 or whatever. Eventually, WWE released him. They actually said they would pay for his rehab, and he refused. He rejected it. Rejected that offer. Now, apparently, the talk is Jeff Hardy wasn't actually on drugs. He wasn't drunk. He did it on purpose. He wanted to leave WWE, so he tricked him into releasing him, thinking that he was on drugs or drinking or whatever. Now, he's been released from WWE, and apparently, the rumor is he's already signed with AEW, where his brother Matt is. So, like, it's just a bizarre situation, if you ask me. What are your thoughts on it, Shaz?
I'd like to say I'm surprised because I know exactly what you're talking about because I heard about it and I had to YouTube the clip.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to say I'm surprised. I'd like to say that shit like what's going on here, but I'll be honest with you, it's not surprising. They don't really care about superstars' welfare. So basically, Jeff Hardy is actually just duped WWE because they're that
100%.
stupid to.
I mean, like, do you
it
really
goes back
blame
to
him? Do you really blame him though?
No,
I mean,
I don't blame
he jobbed to Austin Theory, bro. The same guy that Finn Balor is about to job to on Raw.
I don't
Like,
blame him. I mean, I
don't
would
get me
say
wrong,
right
right?
now,
This is nothing against Austin Theory, right? Before anyone says I hate Austin Theory and all this bullshit, I do not hate Austin Theory. I think he's a brilliant wrestler, right? But the whole storyline with him, it's just wrong, man. He should start. The way I see it, he's a great wrestler, right? And they want to push him to be the next superstar. It's obvious, right? They want him to be the next superstar on Raw or SmackDown, right? But they're doing it the wrong way.
yeah.
They should build him up as a baby face, right? Have him as the underdog and keep winning
You know what,
against
Chad?
heels.
I think the best solution, the only thing that's left, it's really funny, and we saw this back in the Attitude Era. We need to literally see an invasion of AEW invades WWE. That's literally the only thing that's going to happen.
Do you know what, bro? It's not even. So, in wrestling, like, all these promotions are working together. You've got you had Ring of Honor, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and AEW. At some point, these four companies had deals with each other. Not all of them together, but like AEW had a deal with Impact and New Japan, and vice versa and whatnot. Where what they're calling is the forbidden door. You had talent from Impact Wrestling showing up in AEW and vice versa, and then you had some New Japan Pro wrestlers turning up in them two promotions as well, and it opens up the door for better storylines and talent swap. So you had, obviously, last year you had Kenny Omega obviously he was the AEW World Champion. He became the Impact Wrestling Champion. And then he appeared on Impact a couple of times. Then he dropped the title at the first edition of Rampage to Christian Cage. And that gave Christian Cage the opportunity to go back to Impact Wrestling and drop that title to a younger talent, which I believe he lost it to Josh Alexander, Bound for Glory, which is it's Impact Wrestling's version, basically, of WrestleMania, their biggest pay-per-view of the year. And I thought that was a really good way for promotions to work together.
Yeah.
Now, the problem is WWE will never do that with any promotion because they think they're better than everybody. And they don't want... The way Vince sees it is if his talent shows up on another show, they're getting the ratings and not Vince McMahon, right? But let's say, for instance, WWE decides to have a working relationship with AEW where they have some talent, not all talent, appear on, like WWE talent appears on Dynamite or Rampage, and then you've got AEW talent that appears on Raw or SmackDown, right? Imagine the possibilities, bro. You imagine they could have a whole AEW versus WWE pay-per-view. Like, not even an invasion, bro. Just like a whole, like how you used to have Raw versus SmackDown on Survivor Series. Yeah. You could have a whole freaking, I don't know, pay-per-view of Raw and SmackDown versus AEW. It will be absolutely amazing. And the pay-per-view buys will be through the roof, bro. And that's not even a joke. Like, there's some matches there that I would love to see, like AJ Styles versus Kenny Omega. That would be a brilliant match.
That would be
like the Usos versus the Young Bucks. Like, who doesn't want to see that? Come on, bro. Or the Usos versus Santana and Ortiz. There's Roman Reigns versus Miro. I would love to see that. Obviously, we did see Roman Reigns versus Rusev. I think we've seen that in WWE. But as Miro, portrayed by AEW, versus the Roman Reigns we see now as the head of the table, that will be a great fight. That will be a great match. And then the possibilities are actually endless, bro.
Yeah, so one of the things that I thought they could do, and I know you said they can't, or Vince has got his head up his ass, is that this cross collaboration between the brands, I think, works because it injects fresh storylines, fresh scenarios. But like you said, it's all politics because WWE think they're bigger than they actually are. I mean, whilst they're the biggest brand, I think the brand is slowly, the brand's dead.
The brand's gone, mate. It's been buried already, bro.
So yeah, literally, it's been buried alive. AEW buried it alive.
No pun intended there.
Even the Undertaker can't rise from the ashes to save this, bro. It's just gone, bro.
So there's a couple of little bits that obviously we still want to cover before we wrap up. So the last thing I want to talk about with WWE before we move on to the Owen Hart Tournament. The rumor is that once Vince McMahon retires, which apparently is going to be very soon, I hope, his replacement is going to be Nick Khan, who currently works for WWE. And to me, the guy's a piece of shit. Like, all these talent cuts and budget cut reasons are down to Nick Khan. The way that WWE has changed NXT is Nick Khan. So you can see already that this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And if he takes over WWE, you might as well just pull the plug and let him
So are they not giving it to Triple H then?
No, doesn't look like it. Because you've got to understand there's a board of directors and they will probably pick the next person.
Because it's not Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
I mean, I would, bro. I would love to see Shawn Michaels and Triple H. The possibilities on that, bro, is just crazy. Like, you could have Raw for Triple H and SmackDown for Shawn Michaels, and have them feud against each other as authority figures. It'd be crazy.
Yeah, why not?
But that's WWE in it. That's just the shit that WWE are doing, man. But I do want to talk about the Owen Hart Tournament. Like, Owen Hart was a brilliant wrestler. And not only that, from watching the video about Owen Hart Tournament in AEW, you heard a lot of the wrestlers talk about him. Like, he was a family man. He was very humble, very talented. And it was just a tragic event, that took him away from the wrestling world and the world itself. I remember I was in high school when that happened. It was the only pay-per-view that year that I didn't record on VHS to watch. I forgot to, put it on record at night, so it never recorded. And I got to school and people were like, "Oh, did you hear what happened to Owen Hart?" And I'm like, "No, don't tell me. I want to go home and watch it." Got home and it wasn't recorded. So then I had to find out from other people that Owen Hart actually died. I watched the Raw after where they played the tribute to him. It was just very. I don't even want to go into it, man. Very emotional, man. But watching the highlight package of him, like, it brought back memories of his wrestling. Like, he was a very polished wrestler, and I thought he was all at his age. He was the younger brother of Bret the Hitman Hart, right? And at that age, I think he was already better than Bret, and he was obviously destined to be a world champion in WWE. But unfortunately, we never got to see that happen. And his family sued WWE, right, for his death. And obviously it's gone on, and that's why you'll never see anything about Owen Hart mentioned in WWE. Like, they've never done anything, not even tributes to him. They've not even done a DVD for him. Nothing at all. Like, his wife doesn't want WWE to do anything because she hates them. She blames them for him dying, which is rightfully so. That he was doing a very risky, dangerous stunt. Like, he was in the rafters, and he didn't even have a cable tied to. He didn't even have a cable hooked to him in case he fell. Like, being that high up, and he's a wrestler, they should have thought, right, if he's going up there, he has to have this. Otherwise, he's not going up. As soon as he gets up there, the first thing they should be doing is putting that cable on him, securing him in case he did fall, which unfortunately he did fall, and his face hit the turnbuckle, and he died.
Yeah,
it's just crazy, bro. But AEW's tribute to him in that little video was really good to watch. Hearing all the positive things about him was really good. And the tournament, I believe, will do him justice. There's going to be a men's tournament and a women's tournament, and I think it's going to do it justice. It's going to, obviously, I think the finals are going to be at Double or Nothing. And I think it's going to do Owen Hart and his family proud. I think it's really good, man. It's really good, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, just to wrap up on what you just said, I mean, absolutely brilliant wrestler. I remember watching YouTube clips of him back in the day. For me, I think it just highlights the fact that we keep talking about welfare, right? And we talked about this when Roman Reigns, for example, took some time out over WrestleMania a few years ago because of the pandemic. It just shows that WWE don't really care about anyone's well-being. Who was it that passed away, sadly, part of the Wyatt family? What's his name?
Oh, Luke Harper.
Yeah.
Brody Lee in AEW. Yeah, that was sad as well, man. Really bad.
So you understand what I mean, right? So it's like they don't acknowledge the fact that safety needs to be paramount. They don't acknowledge the fact that people's work.
But Brody Lee passed away because he was ill. It was a different type of situation, but I get what you mean. Like, the biggest thing that hit me the most was Eddie Guerrero passing away. Like, I stayed up to watch Raw, and before that, I hadn't obviously read any news, not heard anything about Eddie Guerrero passing away. And then I turned Raw on, and they're doing a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. I'm like, yo, what's going on here? And it was live as well, like 1 a.m., 12 a.m., whatever time it was.
Yeah.
And I remember watching it live, and it was just very emotional. There's some comments here. I just want to go through the one that Darren mentioned earlier. WWE surprised Kevin Owens signed new WWE contract. I was very, very surprised about this. I understand why he did it. He was offered a lot of money, and to Kevin Owens, his family comes first. So he negotiated a very good deal that secured him and his family financially. and he stayed with WWE. You know, he did what was right for him and his family. Saying that maybe he could have got the same amount of money and gone to AEW. Maybe they wouldn't have offered him enough money. Maybe they did offer him something and he said no. No one knows. I mean, I'm happy that he's negotiated a new deal for himself. I like Kevin Owens, good wrestler. He's in the Fatal 4-Way, isn't he? Day one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll let you talk about the Owen Hart tournament, bro. I just wanted to mention that comment because I missed it earlier. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, just wanted to follow up on what you said in terms of the tournament. I think fitting tribute to him, I think just speaks volumes about the man that even though he's not with us today, people still remember his legacy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, WWE still don't understand the value of welfare, but that's something that has to change. I think AEW are definitely destined to take over, but we'll have to see what happens.
Yeah, no, definitely, bro, definitely. It's like we already saw Bret Hart in AEW. I think it was towards the start when they announced it was a championship that they announced, and he gave it out. He revealed it. Sorry, I think it was the AEW World Championship that he revealed. Like it's just WWE used their legends a lot differently to AEW. Like AEW give them the respect that they deserve. Like look at the way they've used Sting, Jake the Snake Roberts, Tully Blanchard. Right, they've used them very well. But then you've got WWE who ruined Jeff Hardy. They ruined The Undertaker before he retired. Do I need to go on?
No.
I don't think I do. You know where the list is quite big with what WWE have done. But there is other things that we can talk about. But I think we need a whole full video just on NXT, bro. Maybe that's the next All Things Wrestling videos that we do one on NXT later. Not today, sorry. Yeah. Probably tomorrow or in a couple of days or whatever. But yeah, we'll definitely be back with All Things Wrestling in the next couple of days, where we talk about NXT 2.0, which like me and Shaz have always said, it looks like a unicorn took a shit on the logo and turned it from gold and black, the black and gold brand, to this colorful rainbow bullshit. I don't know. I mean, do WWE think that it's going to attract more kids to watch NXT? If you've got any questions about NXT, if you want to talk about NXT, you want to tune into our next video. If you've got any comments you want to leave beforehand, leave them on this video, and we'll talk about them on the next All Things Wrestling video. Appreciate everyone tuning in. Appreciate the love and support. We are back with more content. I know we've been on a hiatus for a while just because there's been a lot of other things, like personal things that we've both been dealing with. But now we are back, and hopefully we'll be bringing you more content over the next couple of weeks, more videos, and we'll try and make up for lost time. I'll leave it over to my boy Shaz just before we go. And last thing I'm going to say is it's undisputed.
Nice one, bro. So yeah, I just wanted to wrap it up to the same great episode. I think a lot of the points that Shaz has raised, valid. I wouldn't disagree with them. I think WWE is literally shot itself in the foot. I still don't understand how it doesn't realize that it's losing so badly to AEW. It's losing fans. It's losing credibility. But you know what? Stay tuned for the next episode.
But before you go, Shaz, the fans will say that AEW are losing the ratings war. Like, ratings are the only thing that matters. But anyway, we will get on to everything about NXT, more talk about wrestling in the next All Things Wrestling episode. We'll be back again later this week with that video, and we'll be back with All Things Football. We'll be back with Fergie Time. We'll be back with the finished court. There'll be more new content, new shows added this week, hopefully, that me and Shaz have been discussing. And there's a lot of new changes coming up. So we might just do a little video announcing all the little changes that we've made to the channel and hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with more content.
Yeah, until next time, take it easy, guys.
It's all about the Undisputed Era, boy.